Good Friday morning, everyone. This piece is called, let me introduce myself. My name is Rita Jan Gaiman. My website is ritajan.com, and you may buy my original artwork on the website. You may also buy prints of my large originals and my digital artwork on brushed metal prints on my website. Okay, let's get started. This piece is called Sometimes When We Touch, the Honesty's Too Much. At a time in my life when I was scared shitless of emotions, I cannot even tell you how terrified I was of emotions. At a time in my life, something like deep, meaningful kisses like this, where you feel your spirits completely connect to each other through your face. That was something that was so terrifying for me and so completely and that song, obviously the title is named after the lyrics in the song. Sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much. That is exactly how I felt about that level of emotion, that level of closeness. I could get someone else to feel it, but feeling it myself was way too real. It was way too authentic, and I was not able to even function there. Now, all of this, you're going to laugh even further. All of this is happening at the same time that I am a physical touch love language. Now, let me tell you something. There are 5, if you don't know about this, there are 5 love languages. It's talked about in a book by Gary Chapman called The 5 Love Languages. And Gary Chapman is a psychologist and an anthropologist. And he started noticing some patterns in patients as they came in. And that's how he read the book. I'm a physical touch love language. I feel physical touch I feel love through physical touch with my partner. Now, my man is wonderful and he's great. And fortunately, he's also another physical touch love language. I don't know where I would be if I was with someone who wasn't like that. Actually, I do know where I'd be. I've dated guys who were other love languages. They might have liked sex, but there was a lack of emotion in the sex because they were not physical touch love languages like I was. So I wanted to cuddle. I wanted to be held by them. And when they did that, it felt completely insincere because they were not even putting any thought into it because they are not that type of love language. When I finally got to where I was comfortable with emotions, which took years for me to get there, something like this was possible with me. But really, it was only possible with another physical touch love language like myself, like my current man. My man is wonderful, and he's great, and we go really well together. And we are actually able to create this level of magic where your bodies, your faces, and your energies just blend together. And that is the story behind this piece. That is my reality behind this piece. However, a lot of other people see other things in this. They see things that make them both comfortable and uncomfortable. Excuse me. Let's deal with the discomfort first. They see people being too close. They see too much intimacy because in their lives, intimacy is something that they have not fully achieved or fully achieved to their own satisfaction. So that level of comfort is just not there. Also, maybe their emotional connection is not quite there. It's okay. I was capable of a physical touch love language with another physical touch love language. I was capable of that, but I wasn't emotionally connected for many years of my younger life. So this is something that people can develop in different ways and at different rates in their lives. And this is something that once I've realized how much I was missing out on real emotions and how much real emotions really meant to me, I went about pursuing it in true ambitious style. I went about pursuing it really, really clearly and with lots of forethought. Even though I was successful in that, and even though I could view my emotional progress proceeding quite quickly, it still took me a lot of time, and I do mean quite a few, for other people it might be a few months, but for me it was quite a few years, to get from being completely emotionally turned off to being completely emotionally connected. I'd say it took me 13 years, and that's just being emotionally connected. We're not even going to talk about my issues that I had at that time as well. So this piece is something that is, to me, a crowning achievement. To be able to be that deeply emotionally connected with someone who shares my exact love language, which happens to be physical touch. This piece depicts that level of closeness, that level of blending together in the moment that people are able to achieve. And that blew my mind, to be able to paint this and to be able to experience this at the same time. That is the most amazing feeling in the world. There's nothing better than that. People have conquered countries and they have given up and lost countries based upon whether or not they had this in their lives and whether or not they did not. When I look at the emotions of other people, I'm able to tell that some people are similar to me somewhere along my stages. And I brag about my emotional connectedness now because it's hard fought. It was very hard fought and hard won. I don't believe in pushing away money by saying that money is hard earned. But for me, emotions were hard fought. They were hard earned. They were hard won. So for me, money is easy and clear and comfortable and at ease and powerful in my world. It's the emotions that for many years for me were so difficult. For someone like me, being a physical touch love language and actually kissing another physical touch love language, that is God and heaven and ultimate consciousness, highest vibration. That is everything. That is everything to me and to the other person. There is nothing better than that. That is it. This piece, with its super long title, Sometimes When We Touch, the Honesty is Too Much. This piece is available on my website for $6,000. It's oil on canvas board. So it's like canvas, but it's stiff all the way through. Instead of it being a frame, the canvas stretched on a frame, it's canvas stretched on a stiff board. Very stiff, very firm, very tough. Sharing this with you is something that even a year ago, and especially 3 years ago, something I would not have been able to do. I would not have been able to tell you everything that came into this one piece. If you are one of those people who have really high intellect and really high physical needs, whether or not you're a physical touch love language, if you're with a partner who shares your love language, and you have a very alpha personality, and you're very powerful, and you're very ambitious and on top of the world, you may find that you're able to pour all of your energy into your partner like this. And if you can experience that in return, my God, no wonder you have achieved as much as you have. It's not just about intellect. It's about force of will. It's about your power and your ability to connect at such a deep level and in so many different ways, all at once. All in one powerful moment. this Friday, I'm looking at the clarity in my life that I now have that for decades I did not have. And I knew I didn't have it. I didn't let it sit around. I was deliberate. I was purposeful. A lot of people, they think that they can heal the damage in their lives by simply letting time heal. And time heals some of it, but my level of damage was so extensive. And my level of emotional disconnectedness was so extensive that for 10 years I was a sociopath. I was completely cut off emotionally. And when I finally started experiencing emotions again on purpose, deliberately, it felt like a branding iron on my skin, on my flesh. And I did not experience the rewards of emotional connectedness right away because it was that painful to me to even touch emotion. So, the way you develop a good habit is by having little successes and then little rewards that follow them. I had no successes and no rewards, but I had utter pain after every single encounter. So I was only experimenting with emotion or trying to use emotion only once a week sometimes because it was so exhausting. It burned me so badly to touch emotion. This was 8 years ago that I started doing this again. No, 10 years ago, because I was 26 when I started engaging in deliberate emotion again, and I'm 36 now. And that was so intense, and it was so painful, and for 3.5 years, from 26 to 29.5, I had no ability to experience emotion without the downside, and I was only barely getting any reward after 3.5 years, any reward of emotional connection. The only reason I was still doing it, and by the way, if you have someone who is a true sociopath in your life, to get them to experience this, they're going to have to understand that it's going to be so painful with no reward for years. It's going to be like that. But I knew what the rewards would be, even though I had never experienced them before in my life. I knew what the rewards would be I knew intellectually what the rewards would be once I was finished with my task. By year 4, I was starting to get some rewards back. And I was finally starting to get some reward for my effort back and for all the pain. And the pain was beginning to be more reasonable. By year 6, I was finally experiencing the majority of emotion and the majority of connection and emotional rewards from that with the least amount of pain that I'd ever experienced in my life. And by the time it was like 2 years ago, just 2 years ago from today, from the moment that I'm making this video, the rewards were in the 90s and the pain was negligible. And today I'm completely connected, and this painting is depicting my journey. It's not depicting my journey, it's depicting the results, the end result of my journey. Because I'm a physical touch love language, and if I'm with another physical touch love language, with someone else who speaks my love language, who is connected with me emotionally, just like I am with him, and I'm actually getting all of this reward and no backlash, I finally reached heaven. And I'm only 36. I'm only 36 after all the torture I've suffered in my life. To be only 36 and finally get to heaven, that's a blessing. That's a fucking reward. I think that there are people who I've known in my whole life they've been in their 70s, and they have not yet experienced that level of connectedness. Finally, I've gotten there out of deliberate, conscious effort for many, many years. This piece is on my site, available for $6,000, oil on canvas board, and it will come with shipping insurance, a certificate of authenticity. It will be shipped directly by me, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. Whenever I touch that connection, I am so proud of myself, and I'm proud of anyone who's able to achieve that level of connection. Have a lovely weekend.